On this episode of Let's Find Out, I want to get to the bottom of this question. How much money and efficiency do underinflated tires cost you? And I'm going to do two same loops. One with normally inflated tires on our Ram 1500 Classic truck, and another loop with the tires underinflated. It is wintertime after all, and this is a common thing you might be facing. So let's go get it done. Whenever we fill up, we use Sinclair stations because a couple things. Dyno Care additive helps us out, and also you could save money with the DynoPay app, which I'll show you in a second. The truck I'm using is our beloved now, most affordable, full-size four-wheel drive Ram 1500 Classic. And I'm using just regular unleaded fuel because this truck is very simple, very affordable. I'm gonna use the same pump on both loops, fill up, top off the way we normally do. And let me show you my tire pressure monitoring system just to make sure that we have the correct pressures on our first loop. Here in my door jamb, there's my payload sticker, but it also is my tire pressure sticker. So it says for the front, 40 PSI, cold tire pressure, and the rear also 40. So if you have questions about your vehicle, it can be a passenger car, it could be a pickup truck, anything. You can always refer to the sticker and find out exactly what the pressure should be for ideal tire temperatures. This Ram truck has a small information screen in the center of the gauge cluster, but it has a lot of information. Here I can go and see my current tire pressures. I just drove a couple miles to get to the fuel pump from the office. The tires warmed up a little bit from driving, but my pressures are proper, as you can see, just over 40 PSI, and this is what I'll be using on my first loop. Okay, it's been 30 seconds. I'm gonna top off. We're very careful. We never overfill, but we try to do a double click method as always to make sure the fill up is even from time to time to time. And here's how you can save some money on fuel. A DynoPay app. It shows you other stations, and you can see prices. So you could find a station with the lowest price, and then you can get a few cents off per gallon on your next fill up. So quite handy. All right, let's start up the truck. And I'm gonna zero out my trip meter so you guys get an idea for what this truck is doing. I'm on a mixed loop. A lot of it will be highway, but also some city. I have to go through Boulder and Longmont. Cities here in Colorado. And it's 63 miles approximately. So it's long enough distance to where we can get some good information, I think, from this test. And the truck I'm driving is powered by a very familiar engine that's also in millions of other vehicles. It's a 3.6 liter Pentastar V6. No turbochargers, no fancy hybrid system, nothing. 305 horsepower, which is quite a lot. 269 pound-feet of torque. And it has an 8-speed automatic transmission. And this is basically the most affordable combination you can get in a Ram truck for a full-size truck. And well, let me show you the sticker and the EPA ratings. This is what the government says: 16 city, 23 highway, 19 combined. And even though this is a cool day, I'm running my heater, I think we could beat the combined rating for sure. At least that's my hope. And if you've been watching TFL Truck, you probably already have seen Roman and Tommy do a road trip when they purchased this truck in Idaho, about 800 miles on the way from Idaho to Colorado. And you could see their 80 mile per hour, 75 mile per hour road trip in this exact truck. And of course I didn't get the great result because it was a fast speed mountainous drive. This is different. This is daily driving. And winter is coming, And this is why I'm doing this video, is because most of us will be, or at least in the snow belt, will be facing this. Temperatures come down, pressures in tires come down with it. Sometimes you can have a tire leak, etc., etc., and it can affect your efficiency, performance of your vehicle in a big way. Or maybe a small way. Let's find out. Whoa, that Mercedes is stuck in the middle of a highway. Not good. Not good. Okay, so I finished the highway section, and now I'm in Longmont, and now it's a city, slower speeds. My average speed is still kind of below 50. I'll show you my trip meter in 1 second. And how does a truck drive with normally inflated tires? And what does it mean to be normally inflated? Well, first of all, this truck is relatively lightweight. This pickup, yes, it's a full-size truck, technically a half-ton, but it weighs about 4,800 pounds, which is light for a pickup truck because it's so small. It is four-wheel drive. Of course, I'm using two-wheel drive for this test, but the tire pressure PSI rating does a couple things. First of all, it's a safety thing and also weight carrying thing. So if I was to put a load in the back of this truck, that pressure in the tire needs to be able to support that load. So that's why that rating is from the manufacturer for properly inflated, normally inflated tires. And this truck feels great. I think even unladen with nothing in it, directly how it comes from the factory, this truck drives really comfortably. The seat is nice. The suspension is working well. I think it's a relatively lightweight truck, and it drives not quite like an SUV, but close to it. Let me show you what's going on here. Whoa, this is a huge surprise. 26.1 mpg is my current, according to the computer, current average. I've went 28.6 miles, not quite half of my trip, and I used about 41 minutes. I've hit a couple of traffic lights, but not many. So once again, my speeds are way lower than the highway speed. So this is kind of a combined loop at this point. Well, folks, it's been about an hour. We're completing our loop, and the Mercedes we saw earlier is being towed. So at least something happened. At least something happened, and I don't want to crash. Oh boy, I don't want to crash. Okay, I got around it. Okay, I'm glad the Mercedes guy is getting help. As promised, 63 miles is GPS distance, and the truck is showing 62.5, so I'll be using 63 miles as our standard loop. The truck thinks I got 23.5 mpg. So let's find out, what did I do? All right, let's fill up. Oh, there's a big diesel coming in. I wish my truck sounded like that. Oh, that was a quick one. Once again, I'm gonna wait 30 seconds and top off. Okay, 2.7, let's calculate. Based on GPS, 63-mile loop. I'm gonna be using the same number every time on this loop. Divide by 2.788 gallons. And the answer is 22.6 if I'm rounding to the last decimal point. This is a great result, guys. This is mostly a combined loop, as you saw, so not super high speeds, but also not a lot of traffic. And it's close to their highway rating from the EPA. So I'm very pleased, 22.6, amazing. Now I'm gonna deflate my tires on purpose and do the same loop. Alright, so now I have deflated all of the tires. Let's double check it. 22s! Yeah, so, and that's with warm temperature in the tires because I just drove 63 miles. So if I left it overnight this way, especially on a cold night, those PSIs will drop probably below 20. I am zeroing out my second loop. And look, it tells me fill up to 40. So this truck is very, actually very good. And I didn't have to drive to reset the readings. Very useful system. But what if you, let's say we're in a hurry, you came up to your vehicle, you couldn't air up, let's say you have no air compressor, you either were lazy or you wanted to overlook it. This is why we're doing this test. What happens? How much money are you going to pay extra when your tires are underinflated and you're still driving to work or running your errands? So let me get on the same loop. And actually already I can feel a difference. The steering feels a little bit heavier. Interesting. We usually air down when we go off-road. Basically what happens, the tire gets squishier, the bottom of it gets larger, you have more traction, so it's a little bit harder to move that tire, especially for steering. And I swear the steering feels a little bit heavier now. That's quite interesting. Okay, I cannot wait to find out what happens. Take a look, I'm on the on-ramp. This is almost a 180. And this is where low tire pressure is starting to become a safety concern because the tire is so more flexible now and it could roll over. If you were going at the fast rate of speed, the tire will start to bend more than it would normally, and it's becoming a safety concern now. Obviously, I'm not racing, I'm not going over speed limits, I'm still driving normally, but I'm not very comfortable. I am back in Longmont, and I gotta tell you guys, I did not expect this. This driving experience is weird. I think the tires are now noisier. It's not good for these tires. These tires are brand new, so I think they will last through this test. But if this was an older vehicle with slightly maybe older, maybe slightly cracked tires, it's not really good because they're constantly bending and flexing. We started at 22 psi, now they're raising up to about 24. And then my efficiency is at 24.8. I think it was over 26 last time here. But I want to complete this and make sure and see exactly how much money extra do I have to spend to drive with a slightly deflated tire. Well, I did it. Are my tires still intact? I think so. So you could see the pressures are about the same as they were. Let me show you that right there. And then the computer is saying the following. It's saying that I went, well, in this case, slightly less distance. And then approximately the same time and 23 mpg. So if that's true, maybe it doesn't matter. Let's find out. I'm using 85 basic fuel, basic engine, basic truck. Because of where we are in Colorado, of course 85 octane exists because it's a higher elevation here than at sea level, about 1 mile high. Alright, let's see what the result will be. How has it affected my efficiency? Okay. All right, let's calculate. It's close, but still there's a bit of a difference. All right, so the previous number was 22.6 approximately. Now, 63 miles, this is the same loop. Divide by 3.023 gallons equals 20.8. Okay, so we went from 22.6 to 20.8. So let me, that's almost 2 mpg difference, which is about 10%. So that's almost 10% more expensive to run with slightly or half deflated tires. But what if you ran like this for a full tank? So let's take the current number at Sinclair, $3.59 a gallon, right? This truck has 26-gallon tank times 359.9. That would be about $93.57 to fill up the entire truck. And if you're 10% worse, it would cost you about $9 more every time you filled it up. So that's the difference. Is it huge? No. Is it sizable when prices are high? I would say yes. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, alltfl.com is where you'll find everything automotive in one place. Thanks.